All right, hold on. I hit the live button on Facebook before I got the live going on Facebook. I hit the live on YouTube before we hit it on Facebook. Got to wake up here a little bit better. All right, there we go. Let me let the Facebook load also. Okay. All right, come on. There it goes. And we're live on everything. Hey, everybody. It's Jason Blaha here, just sitting here drinking my morning coffee, looking sexy as hell as usual. I'm going to do a nice long one of these. I just feel like today, I actually feel good, but I kind of have so many other things irons in the fire today. I just don't feel like trying to go run. I don't feel like trying to coordinate that today. I think I'm going to take all the day off from any sort of training. Had a really good workout yesterday. Got some actual rep PRs on some stuff. Like my dips were up. My tricep extensions were all up. You know, the muscles, I really want those triceps to come up more. So I was just overall happy with a lot of that. Got good lower body work, good sprint session in on the squats. Like I had a lot of volume with, PRs in there. So I'm like, you know what? How about I just take the day, maybe do a little light band work, a little mobility work, and just have a full day off from any real training. And then I'll get up and run in the morning because I have multiple things I have to get done, like involving other people uh, through the day. So got stuff to get done that's offline. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna try to get as much, stuff done here, get client sheets and stuff done, and just chat with my people today. You know, just chat with my people. And so, but I'll get a nice long, really long coffee chat in here, I think, because I don't have other engagements this morning other than making some videos and then getting some client sheets. So I'll just chat with you, lovely people, for over an hour. I might run this like an hour and a half or something. We'll see what we get in here. Right? We'll see what we get. But I'm going to stream on all platforms, of course. So we're on the tubes, we're on Facebook, and everything going. Facebook is starting to pick back up this week. Finally, getting some good traffic there. I had a weird one of my little short videos makes money, like my deadlift video yesterday. It's like, what? It actually made money on Facebook? I mean, more than a penny or two. Like, everything makes a penny or two. There's nothing is unmonetized. There's no content that has no money. It's just weird. I used to see in a short video make like anything. It's rather strange. But tubes is coming along here too. But yeah, my training's going really, really good. Training's going good, and like I said, I'm gonna continue to recomp. I may trickle down a little bit. Leanness helps with my outreach, but honestly, when I was doing my best, I didn't have to be ripped. I just needed to be fit and healthy and really strong. So I'm gonna keep focusing on performance and keep my diet clean and let the scale land where it lands. I feel like as long as I keep the conditioning high and keep the fasting where it is. Like yesterday, I didn't eat all my food. Like I cooked food that I didn't eat. I did not get all my carbs in, so that was interesting to me. So I feel like the nature of the diet. I added more protein in just to see what would happen. The last couple of days, and I got to where in the evening I didn't eat all the brown rice I had cooked. It went in the fridge, right? Probably 800 calories, and my carbs went in the fridge last night. They didn't get eaten. So that's a good sign, right? Especially after a really good workout. So I'll probably by default start leaning out a little bit more just because of that. My appetite is really, really under control with what I'm doing now. So again, minor point, but I'm relatively happy about it. I haven't got any comments yet, though. Right? Mustafa's in this sending message. He needs to get in my stream. All right. But yeah, well, we had a bunch of viewers, but no one's chiming in. You guys got to hit the like and comment on the tube so that we get some conversation going. These really kick off some mornings, by the way. I'm hoping that it'll do it here. All right. Hold on, let me answer this guy. All right. There we go. Got the first like, so we'll get some comments coming in here soon. Oh, we did, but then somebody unliked their like. So, and the tube is going to be weird this morning. We're getting a big spike in views, nobody commenting, and they roll out. You guys know as soon as you start asking questions, these really kick off. These kick off big time. It's just that it's up to the viewers to get it rolling. As soon as you guys get lively, it hits everyone's streams, and then these really, really kick off. All right, been my experience. Because I do one every single morning, right? But they're always like this. They're hit or miss. Sometimes people won't come in until they all realize I'm here. The early people don't engage, and they roll out. And then when all my regulars see it, as soon as this hits their streams, it usually takes one person to comment, and then it kicks off into everybody's stream. Then we get 500 questions. But in the meantime, I'm just going to roll with it. So, well, I saw a like pop up. So that means probably a regular, and then we'll see 30 people in here before long, and then we'll have endless questions for Coach Eno. Why is it hot in here this morning? The AC is on. It's cool outside. This is rather weird. Why it's so warm? Is my fan on? Yeah. I ate less carbs yesterday because I was full, and I'm waking up hot in spite of the cooler weather. That's very strange. What do you guys make of that? I don't know. Don't say trend. We're not on trend, guys. So I've literally talked for 7 minutes with no comments. Did I set this to actually have the chats come through? Or you guys just not typing? That is very weird. I don't go this far without at least 10 questions already. That's Saturdays, man. Saturdays are weird on here. Okay. And the other problem is when the new people come through and see it after there's no early content. So they don't watch the whole thing. Or they do. They just kick over. If they're smart, they just fast forward to the 5 million conversations we'll have about theoretical physics and philosophy that get brought up. Because I don't come into the coffee chats on the topic. I just wake up and I chat with my people and we say hello. You know, it's just what we do. And then we just they spin off into conversations. I'll continue to wait. And I can wait these out because, like I said, eventually they take off no matter what. The coffee chats get crazy eventually. But you don't know. They're either going to start in the first minute or they start at the 15-minute mark when everyone just rolls in. But yeah, it's going to be I'm going to take the day off from any real training. Kind of do one. I started running even both weekend days last weekend. Yeah. I feel like I want to gain muscle and recomp and everything from yesterday's training. And like I said, I got a bunch of stuff to do. So I can just do live streams. Rufio, good morning, Coach. Rufio, this is really weird. You're the first person to comment. We're like 9 minutes in. The last few coffee chats have really kicked off. It must be something about a Saturday morning for people. I don't know. It is weird because you know how these coffee chats get. I mean, in my lives, actually got good engagements. Yeah, yesterday it was popping, but we ran it really far. It was popping at like 30 minutes. Yeah. Jason, have you ever used peptides to heal injuries? Yes. Yeah. I've used mechano growth factor for a pull before. I had some handy, or I got some really fast. Um, that was a long time ago. That's been my experience, right? Been my experience. But I'm not using any peptides these days, right? But I found mechanic growth factor pretty decent at site healing when I pulled a hamstring. So I put up, it turned black, so I just was actually pinning the hamstring directly with it, and I deadlifted 550 10 days after I pulled it, and it turned black, pain free. So I would say that was fairly successful. Just be careful. A lot of peptides are experimental. Like, we don't have long-term studies like we do on anabolics. As she said, maybe it's the weather changed in, or when do you get? No, actually, I don't. Actually, I keep my personal life completely off the internet. That's kind of a one-off because it was a big deal. I might not get one for a little bit. You know, like I'm going to have to deal with a lot of stuff, possibly a small claims court and everything too, because you know, like, it's not replacing my vehicle. Like, even my insurance paying it off and everything, it's like I'm walking out of it with nothing. So because the guy was intoxicated, I may have to sue him, but he's maybe going to prison. So it's kind of hard to sue somebody at that point. You know what I mean? I don't know. I may have to talk to a lawyer further on that one. Just all depends on how business goes too. Like, this has been a slow year for me for business. Like, I don't make six figures anymore, like, in this economy. You know, just got to call it like it is. You know, till this economy picks back up, Coach won't be making six figures. Not going to happen for a bit. So I watch my money pretty close. Got to be careful. But not a big deal. I mean, because I work from home anyways. I train at home. I work from home. Um, my close inner circle come through often enough that even going to the store or whatever, not a big deal. You know, they're just like, yeah, let's go home. You know, so I don't even have to do grocery delivery if I don't want. I mean, so again, anywhere I go is going to be with other people who I'm already in my circle, since I work and train at home already. So for now, I'm not worried about it. Eventually, I'll have to get a new one. Right? Rufio, that doesn't have any meaning in America. Like, you're going to have to put that into U.S. terms. So the good one says, my shoulder is effed up and I need that ASAP. Have you looked in? First of all, you need to figure out what messed up your shoulder, the one guy. Number two, I would look into maybe BPC 157. But you need to figure out what hurt your shoulder. So, I mean, if you've got a messed up shoulder and it's due to inflammation, and say something like infraspinatus being pinched, okay? All right, and infraspinatus being pinched, healing, it's not going to stop you from completely cutting it eventually. You can heal it all you want, but if something like, say, your subacromial process is too tight and inflamed and it keeps rubbing it, it's going to cut through it eventually anyways. And then you're going to have to have it reattached. So that's kind of the things to consider, you know. I start every workout with a rotator cuff. I don't think we need to do that. right? You know, but the thing is, rotator, think about, I got to turn my messenger alerts off. Because I can see them here anyways. I don't really believe in rotator cuff work like that personally. But I mean, if it works for you, then it works for you, right? And you guys are asking all these questions and for help, and there's still no likes on the tubes. You know, but yeah. So, yeah, I mean, so I look at the vehicle this way. So I don't have to have a vehicle right now. Drunk driver totaled mine, and I'm waiting on. I'm going to have to wait on stuff for payouts on all of it. Not a big deal, right? Money I don't need to spend. I went 5 years without a car, 4 years without a car a while back. It's one of my exes totaled. She didn't get arrested, but she totaled my other car and then got home, and we got it towed and picked up. But oh man, the one I had before this. Good morning. How you doing, Gigiardo? Would you ever consider getting a motorbike? Hey, Rufio, you already know what medical condition I have, so you already know the answer to that. I could never. I have no trouble doing it. I mean, I've owned a lot of cars, but I don't have to have one at this moment, you know, right? Even the one I lost, I only drove it 30 minutes a week, maybe, if that, if it's just to go to the grocery store. Because again, if I'm doing other stuff, usually people swing by or whatever, you know, ride with people from my circle, whatever we're doing stuff. Not a big deal. No, seriously, I probably only drove my last car 30 minutes a week. Yeah. All right. Like even when my bros jam, we do jam sessions here. So it's like, you know, so they're not disturbing their families. Like all my bros who we do our little band with all have wives and kids and stuff. Like, so my house is the perfect place for stuff like that because like right now it is literally just me in a 3-bedroom house. You know? So, nothing beats a long drive. Yeah, I know it can. I've done that many times. You know? Every person I know that has a wife and kids is jealous of the dudes without a wife and kids. It's really weird, isn't it? Right? Because I think having, you know, there's a nice thing to have a wife and kid if you got a good marriage. You know, I chose not to have kids, you know, due to my own childhood. Like when people ask that, I don't think they understand. Like I told that to a therapist. Like I decided not to have kids. You know, I've discussed that in detail with a therapist. Just it's due to my own childhood trauma. I didn't want kids. It's not that I don't want kids. Let me rephrase that. Due to that, it would give me so many flashbacks, and I'd be terrified that something would happen to them that I would be overbearing and be a really bad parent because of it. And like I'm fully aware of this, like I've self-actualized this, right? I would be on top of everything they did and everyone they associated with 24/7. Um, and I would be suspicious of everybody, right? Because I was abused by family members. Everyone would be a suspect, so it would be a problem. So I chose not to have kids. And so again, it's not a case of saying, "Hey, I wouldn't want to be a father." It's I made that choice not to because of that. Just like with previous gear, I chose to never do HCG therapy or anything. I know it. I tested it the one time. My sperm count was lower. It's like, hey, great. I'm not going to do anything about it. I could have. I could totally reverse that. Right? That's reversible. Chose not to. Very simple. What I can't believe is how many comments we have and 0 likes. Not 1 like, guys. Come on. Guys, get those likes up. Come on. It's obviously not the real Big Lenny, guys. Hey, Rodney, you can't be that dumb, man. Coach just going to call it like it is. Rodney, you can't possibly be that stupid. I refuse to believe you were that dumb. I can't. I just can't. So. But I'm going to go get some coffee. When I get back, I want to see some likes. Hold on. Yeah, nobody dropped one review. All right, coach is back. At least there's 1 like. What we got going on here, fellas? We got anything? Like I said, I'm gonna have one of those days. I'm gonna take today off from all training. I'm not gonna run today. I'm probably just gonna do some band work and a little shoulder mobility stuff. I feel like hammering those band press downs is helping because my triceps are getting stronger. Right? Triceps are getting stronger. Hey, Uchi, why didn't you hit the like button, man? Yeah. So I may do some band press downs because again, I'm getting PRs on those extensions. Like those are the strongest they've ever been. Right? And I'm doing them after dips now. So my triceps keep getting stronger. My bench will eventually go up. Even though I don't feel my triceps on the bench, by the way. Listen, what YouTube channel names have this been in the past? We had Juggernaut Fitness TV, and then Jason. It's been the same name since I've had the plaque. I mean, I've had the same name like, I don't know, man, a long time. So I've had Ice Cream Fitness, Juggernaut Fitness TV, or whatever, and then the Jason Blaha stuff. Pretty much been it. It's been Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness a really, really, really long time. Because you can't change it once you get the check mark. You got to reapply for the whole process. Right? So you don't want to change your name once you get the blue check. It is a pain in the butt. What are you guys typing about? What language is this? Jason, you don't need mints at all, Lenny. Lenny, you don't need any mints. I'm going to say that what you probably need is a therapist, brother. I think your mom took too much Tylenol because you're doing this whole Genova verse fan thing. I think your mom took too much Tylenol, bro. Just unfortunately. We just gonna call it like it is. I did tidy the beard up early this morning. Though. You guys notice we took the half clipper, number 0.5. But I don't care, Lenny, because it doesn't help my coaching business. And we don't need to. I've been discussing current events around the world. So world events are worth way more than men's are. I've been talking about the Charlie Kirk thing. I've been talking about the Tylenol that your mom took when she was pregnant, bro. We've been talking about that stuff, right? We've been talking real events in the afternoon chats. And I've been hitting them on Facebook too, and that's actually been getting a little bit of traffic. You know what I'm saying? We getting traffic, if you know what I'm saying, dog. So I'm probably gonna get rid of you in a minute, man. Which famous person have you met? I mean, I'm a famous person at this point. What are you talking about, dude? I'm the one who, when I'm walking through places, people go, "Oh my God, are you Jason Blaha?" What are you talking about? Come on, Sean. The funniest one is when I met someone else who people knew at the time, and I passed them, and they passed me, and we both recognized each other. I'm like, "Big J." He's like, "Jason Blaha." It was hilarious. Right? That's hilarious. What percentage? On what platform? We're on all platforms. Okay. There it goes. Kapow! We just kapowed this clown. Let's get this goofball troll out of here. We kapowed his ass. I'm not going to do the kapows as loud in the morning. Okay, Sean, for a super chat, I will give you the exact percentages. Funny story. Met a doppelganger at your gym 8 years. It turned out he was a priest at your brother's school. So a doppelganger of you, your own doppelganger. What's up, Ryan? Good morning, bro. No, doppelganger of me. I doubt it. I doubt it. You should have got a picture. Because every time someone does that and they say some person looked like me, they're like half my size every time. So they're not really a doppelganger. So, Coach, did you kapow Lars? Saw some comment. No, I didn't kapow Lars. I just kapowed Big Lenny. Hey, Rodney, do you not understand the context? That was specifically one of my ex's circle groups of friends. For some reason, the dudes were all scared of me. And they were really skinny dudes. There was just one little group of them who did that. It wasn't people. It was one specific circle of my ex-girlfriend's friends. All right. So it wasn't people in general. And you missed the context for it. You guys miss so much context. Right? You guys miss enormous amounts of context with these things. Right? There was one little circle of dudes involved with her hairdresser work. They were because those dudes were 130 pounds. Do I like Mimi? Of course I do, Sean. So these guys were like 130 to 140 pounds tops. They were like some really skinny dudes in that circle, and for some reason they were like scared of me. They were very intimidated by me, and they called they called me the monster, and it was just ridiculous. But they were really skinny, like almost crackhead skinny. Yeah. So that's where that entire story came from. So it wasn't a lot. It wasn't 20 people who called me this. It was like three really skinny dudes that she knew through one of her circles that we occasionally were around. I don't know. So again, you guys miss so much nuance. Good morning, Josh. How you doing, man? And since that person's not in my life, like obviously those people are not in my lives either. Here goes kapow. You know. All right, Sean, this is an interesting discussion. Jason, I think you need to cut the carnivore diet some slack. Carnivore's counterculture, the vegan movement with supply and demand that's hurting, but it doesn't counter the vegan movement. And here's why I don't need to cut them slack. Objectively speaking as someone who does not think you should be vegan, someone who stands against veganism, right? I think carnivore is objectively worse for your health long term. Like it's an actual worse diet. So why should I cut it some slack? Veganism will die out more and more on its own as people realize they can't do it really. Like it's never going to be massive because it's not sustainable, right? I don't know NS84 what you mean. Hey Rodney, smoking crack is good for cutting too. Does that mean you should do it? We all know Bart K is wrong. Bart K is a fringe guy who is not accepted by science. Understand that. So why would you ask me if someone who is fringe and not accepted by the nutrition and scientific community at large, why would you ask me if he's wrong? Why don't you go ask actual nutrition researchers? So why are we talking about him? He's not important. You know, I've already said we're not going to discuss the fitness industry at all anymore. I don't care. So we've made this very clear. I want to discuss if I'm going to discuss anything outside of my training, my coaching, my information, it's not going to be the fitness industry. They're dead to me. Let's talk about current events. Now, if you guys want to talk about current events around the world, we'll do plenty of that. But I don't care about the fitness industry. I'm done with it. So I'm just going to say from now on, I don't know who they are. I've never heard of her. I don't know who she is. So if you guys say Vegan Gains, I've never heard of that hoe. Bart K, I don't know who she is, dude. Next. So having a cholesterol under 200, do you think that that's good? Well, under that could still be insanely high. Do you see the problem with that number? Also, what does his plaque formation look like? What does his fasting glucose look like? But you're saying well under 200. So if it's 160, he's still not good. Like that's actually bad. Your total cholesterol is 160. The doctor still might want to put you on a statin, especially if the LDL is like 105 out of that 160. Yeah, I'm going to call bullshit. Unless I see a printout, like I want to see directly from a doctor. If some carnivore claims what you just claimed, HDL higher than LDL, they need to produce evidence of that in public because that's a bullshit claim. I'm just going to call you on that. Your brother's lying to you. Your brother is lying to you. Straight up. I'll call him on it right now. Tell your brother I called him a liar. And then he needs to produce evidence. No, he needs to produce evidence of an outrageous claim like that. He needs to produce evidence. That would be like saying my brother squats 900 pounds without reps. Well, you need to produce some proof of that. That would be not saying impossible, but you know how rare it would be. Or you come in and say, hey, my brother squats 1,000 pounds in just knee sleeves. Well, I want to see some evidence of that outlandish claim. That's where you are with that statement. Just be aware that what you just wrote, we're at that level of claim. You understand that, right? So we need evidence. All right. I haven't seen anything about Alex Jones in years. I didn't know he was still doing anything. Did you ever consider getting into the MAGA grift back in the day? What do you mean? Jason, how come you're so smart? I don't know. So, but we come back over to the issues. I'm aware of people talking about this, of combining carbs and fat, but yet people still get in great shape and super lean who do it, as long as they're in a calorie deficit. But again, he's promoting, anyone promoting large amounts of saturated fat is going to be a problem. Hey, Rodney, you got to stay out of my, we're not going to discuss that, brother. Hey, Rodney, you is very much a troll, dude. I'm going to give you one warning. Just because I bring something like that up once doesn't mean we're going to talk about it. And you don't need details of my personal life, man. Just calling it like it is. Is that fair? So just going to call it like it is. When you guys say what's so bad about carnivores, that's a very strange question. Like, this leads me to believe you don't know even basic nutrition if you guys ask that too. Come on, be realistic. How about the fact that they don't eat any fruits or vegetables? How about the fact that they literally lie and claim that our ancestors ate that way? I mean, that's as crazy as the vegans. We're right there at vegan level craziness and lies. Right? That is where we are. Yeah, Rodney isn't just a bit trolly. He definitely trolly. He just doesn't cross any lines yet. Yet. I'll give him a little time. He'll type some crazy stuff eventually. But I mean, that alone is enough. Let's set aside what they actually do eat. Let's just set that to the side. The fact that they tell you not to eat fruits and vegetables, like that alone, is enough to completely demonize it as batshit insane and anti-science. Like that part alone. Let's set aside any other problems. Let's set aside any other problems. They're promoting not eating fruits and vegetables. That is a death sentence in the long term. Well, Sean, we should be harsh on anyone who's promoting suicide. You do understand eating no fruits and vegetables is no different than, it's not really any different. I don't see a difference. It's just the bullets traveling slower. The amount of health problems that are going to catch up and eventually kill them from that is astronomical. Like, that is a death sentence. It just takes a little while. All right. All right, but Sean, so here's my point. I'll make the counter argument. I know carnivore is bad, but the carnivores aren't in my way. Between me and my salad, vegans try to get in the way. Okay, but Sean, that's not a good point. because it's not like I'm not hard on vegans too, you know? So it's the equivalent of me getting up and hammering against people smoking crack and against people smoking meth, right? And me making separate content and posts about each one of how bad they are. And then you coming in and saying, no, you should only focus. Why are you so hard on the crack? You need to go after the meth. You see what I mean? There's no logic to this. Why can't we say that both are bad and be equally against both? Like, why do I need to pick one? Why can't we say crack and meth are both really bad and you shouldn't do them and make Facebook statuses about them, right? So why can't I get up every day and say both are bad 7 days a week? Dodgy, it's irrelevant what they're saying about the Randall cycle because the fats they choose are problematic in the long term. It's not like they're promoting eating good fats here. Sean, but that's not true, is it? Sean, where did you get that delusion? You clearly don't make fitness, Sean. You don't make fitness content. I already know. If you made fitness content, you would understand how militant the carnivores are. They're worse than the vegans. Do you know how much hate I've gotten from carnivores before I even started addressing carnivores specifically? Like, you're aware of that, right? Carnivores have literally made hate videos towards me for promoting fiber. Me promoting carbohydrates and vegetables, I literally, for a couple of years now, have had carnivores light up all my social media and attack me and call me stupid and a moron for promoting eating vegetables. I deal with carnivore stupidity every single day. I deal with personal attacks from carnivores due to my position on fruits, vegetables, and carbs. I deal with them 7 days a week for the last 2 years. So I have a different perspective. I see them as insanely militant, aggressive recruiting and attacking anyone who promotes balanced, smart, whole food eating. Like, they will literally, they come up and insult you on your social media. They will make hate videos about you. What's there to debate? Look at his blood work. We're done. I don't want to debate his. So, all right, let's come back over. Fitness industry. Sean Baker. Who is she? I don't know who that is. See how easy that is, guys? Let's ignore the fitness world, man. Let's talk about real topics. And we don't discuss fitness people. I'm the only fitness influencer. I'm the only fitness content creator. None others exist on my channel. There we go. Yeah, I never heard of her, man. I'm going to start doing that. I need to remember that. I got to stick to my guns on that. Hey, Carol, I appreciate you coming through, dropping the like. I'm also on the Facebook. What's going on, Ryan? Client Ryan, I incorporated some 40-yard sprints. It wasn't fast. They'll get faster, Ryan. We got you doing box squats and stuff. You're also still losing weight. Ryan's closing in on that 100-pound of weight loss mark. So, yeah, I don't know who she is. Who's Sean Baker? See how easy that is, man? We're going to do that from now on. So, yep. I can imagine vegans hate you a lot because you stopped me from going vegan 9 years ago. Thankfully, a lot of animals die because of you. Not really. I mean, veganism kills enormous numbers of animals too. right? Let's not pretend their crop dust don't matter. I would make an argument, not that I care, like I literally don't care. I do not care about livestock dying. If I did, morning Jace, what's up, North America? If I legitimately cared and I got up one day and said, I want to dedicate my life to minimizing the amount of animals that die for me to get whatever number of calories, okay, I would focus very heavily on grass-fed large animals. I would eat grass-fed beef, grass-fed bison, and probably a lot of fruit. Now, would a couple million animals still die to feed me? Sure. But it would be way less. And it would be less than most vegans too. Right? Like if that became the most important thing to me, it became a really true moral cause for me, I would eat all my protein from grass-fed large animals, and I would try to focus on fruit. Right? Do you think the human slaughter of animals matters? Not really, no. Luke says, I forgot to say the chiropractor who suggested carnivore diet to your dad, they also know he's on a statin. My dad doesn't know much. Thankfully, all meat or no meat sounds crazy to him. So he asked me, wow. So this chiropractor knows your dad's already on a statin and wanted him to go on carnivore. Is there any way you can get his license revoked? He's dangerous. Like this person doesn't need to be practicing in a health field. They're actually harming people. Actually have some free time this weekend. Do you have a plan for your streaming times? Today, I can't tell you. Tomorrow, I'll be up really early like this, doing one. Today, it's going to be hit or miss because I don't know how my full plans are going to work. I have a couple things going on with other people today. So, and the schedules aren't 100% locked in. So, I'm going to skip the running today because I have other stuff. And I'm like, you know what? I want to take one day today to not do anything super strenuous. I'll probably do some light band work and stuff. I had a really good workout yesterday that was a lot of volume. I got PRs on tricep stuff. I'm kind of like, man, I want to just take the day, chill, let everything grow. Plus, my diet's really under control. I did not eat all of my food yesterday. I had to put leftovers in the fridge. Obviously, not my meal prep meat. I have 6 pounds, over 6 pounds. I have 7 pounds of chicken breast cooked in my fridge, but I had to put some of my brown rice in there. So again, I think we're in a good spot there. So we're going to skip the running just for the day. I'm going to take this as a mostly relaxation day, and I'll get up and run in the morning. All right. In Kentucky, that chiropractor can call themselves doctors, so they do all these carnivore doctor checks. They're really chiropractic. Wow. Yeah, crazy. Get those likes up, guys. Come on, we only got 5 likes. Ren and Stimpy was not during my childhood. It was later. Right? Ren and Stimpy, you mean like some folk will never lose a toe, but then again, some folk will. Like Cletus, the slack-jawed yokel. Like that, Ren and Stimpy? Those folk will never eat a skunk, but then again, some folk will. Like Cletus, the slack-jawed yokel. Or how about Log? Remember the toy Log from Ren and Stimpy? What action cartoons did your generation have as kids? Asking because I want to know what motivated your gen to lift. We had Transformers and G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe, a real American hero. G.I. Joe. Right? And knowing is half the battle. Yeah, Dodgy, I've seen that Cairo's making MD diet and health channels, right? No, Dragon, we didn't have anime, dude. We didn't call it anime. We called it Japimation. We had Speed Racer. And that was like it. And they called it Japimation was the actual name for the little bit that was coming out. And it didn't really take off for my generation. And then they started calling it anime later. Old black and white Popeye, that's before my time. But we did see it, yeah. Dr. Burger, doctor, or chiropractors calling themselves all right, promoting horrible stuff. North America 86 says, I know we can't spot reduce fat, but is there any advice beyond fat loss for getting rid of man boobs, such as hammering dips to build more muscle? I mean, you could. So do you just have fat or do you have puffy nipples? There's a difference, man. But yeah, building bigger pecs can help. You know, you can do lots of dips, build your chesticles up, but lose body fat. Now, if you have actual glandular tissue, that's a whole nother issue. We over to consultation level, me giving advice on that. Appreciate the like over there, Carol, on the Facebook and the comment. Yeah, Dr. Burt. Yeah, he really is. And I got sucked into keto stuff. Let me be clear, like I've done keto a lot in the past. And now that more and more data has emerged, I'm actually, so another reason let me be forthright. Hey, Rufia, I don't have any way to answer that question. I have no idea. I wouldn't even know where to begin on answering that. Let me be forthright, though. Remember, I was saying yesterday the health thing is really a big deal to me. That's one reason I'm not adding anything beyond TRT. It's legitimate health concerns. So, because I did enough keto in the past with higher saturated fat, and I've seen the data the keto people put out this year, I am actually scared that it caused long-term damage. Does that make sense? Like I actually look at that and there's a fear in the back of my mind that it killed me. Like a legitimate concern that the keto diet shaved 20 years off my life. And I don't mean that as hyperbole. I don't mean it as exaggeration. That is a legitimate concern that I have. So that's one reason I'm obsessive with stuff that atherosclerosis related in terms of my diet and lifestyle. Right? Because all these people will look, all these health markers improving, it's not bad. And if you're metabolically healthy, elevated LDL is fine. Their own research shows that it's not fine. The pro keto research that came out this year shows that it's still deadly. Right. So let's get over to Michael's question. Michael, I'm also on Facebook. I know you post there. Question for Coach and anyone watching. Do you ever feel a sudden jolt, almost like an electric spark, shoot through your forearm during bicep curls? No, it's not painful at all. Just a quick, it sounds like you may have some sort of pinched nerve. I'm not going to go into details on my blood work and the testing, but, you know, now we're getting a little personal. I don't like to document that stuff. Like I'm American. That probably would explain a lot of it. Americans are super private about our medical. Like it's a cultural thing. Like to ask people. So that's why when people say, are you on TRT? It's like, do you not understand how massive of a cultural breach that is in America, especially for my generation? Right? So for my generation of Americans, asking them about their medical privacy is like a major cultural taboo. Like this is a major breach of social accepted behavior. People don't see it. I've noticed people online, they don't grasp that. They don't understand Gen Z and older in America as far as the whole medical privacy thing. Right? Because this is the bros. This is the bros talking. right? So, hey, Rodney, I feel like you come in a lot just trying to contradict me. So, you're making it very clear. But we're talking about complete strangers asking you about your medical. Like that is such a massive taboo. But Luke said, I had a patient talking about taking a lot of vitamin B17. What? Why? What? Okay. I was confused and looked it up. She had awful symptoms and presence of cyanide. She refused to believe she was poisoning herself. Jesus. Right. Yeah, Rodney, probably time for you to go. Kapow. We getting Rodney out of here. You just too trolling. Kapow. I'm not as loud in those them in the afternoon, man. I like to really wind it up. What's my current stack? Literally just replacement dose of test. That's my whole stack. I've said this I'm only going to answer this once a day. All right. I think that's fair, guys. Once a day, only once a day will I answer this question. Or do we do it once a stream? Because I'm going to get asked 5 times every stream. Okay. Every single day I get asked. Right? It's your current stat. I meant subs. What do you mean subs? All right, restart the question, Dodgy. All right. My first thought is that Coach 2, Michael sounds like a pinched nerve. It does, yeah. Oh, supplements. Protein, creatine, fish oil. I have a multi, but I forget to take it most of the time. Did you add any extra drugs to support that crazy water cut? You comp, you look shredded. No. Disclaimer, do you want to know what I was actually on? I use NutriCoast. I've put pictures of my brands up. I put up pictures on my whole supplement stack before. Low dose of Test and Deca was actually what I was using for that comp, for those water cut ones, on both of them. So I was running like 200 Test SIP, 200 Deca for those. So that was what my meat prep. Coach, why don't you wear sunglasses? And I do have mine, but for some reason I can't read the screen, and it's not that bright. I have prescription sunglasses. I have the ones that turn dark in the sun, but they're not my reading glasses. When I tore my bicep, I was on Winstrol in my 20s. So yes. So what do you consider when buying fish oil? The quality of the brand. Your reaction to B17 was mine. It's not well accepted nutritional vitamin for good reason. Apparently it's becoming popular now for people for anti-cancer. Some of it converts to cyanide. I guess, yeah, it breaks off because cyanide is what? The little CN minus. Right? Am I remembering correctly? Isn't that the formula for cyanide? I could be completely wrong. It's still morning time. I speak a little bit of a few languages, Sean, but I don't want to go into all of it. So I could be like, "Förstår du norsk?" And I would be like, "Nej, jag förstår inte norsk." So I know a little bit of a few different languages. I'm not fluent though in anything but English. I could be like, "Buenos tardes, mi amigo," or as my guys I used to supervise used to call me, "Pinche gringo cabrón." That was their name for me. They didn't know that I knew what it meant though. So I just played real dumb. You hear so many muscle and ligament tear stories from people running Winstrol. Yes, you do. You said if a doctor prescribes TRT, it's stupid not to do it. People think TRT is working because it's all the fake TRT, right? No, I don't know any of it at all. He said for doctor. Yeah, why wouldn't you do it? But because people in the fitness world are stupid, we can just ignore them. So this is, again, it's a point of let's just ignore the stupidity of the fitness world. And this goes away because normal people outside the fitness world don't think that way. We're not going to go through the list of countries I've been to. Next. You guys sure dig too much into my personal life. Maybe we need to move on from those things. I believe so. I'm a bit behind because I need to pause sometimes, right? Yeah. I love Masteron along with Test C, but it's gone for now. What do you think to take now? Not, I mean, unless you're going to do Bolden on or Deca, probably nothing. I mean, but what's wrong with Test? Sean, Jason, I used to watch you when I was in high school. I'm 28 now. I've been doing this a while. I mean, I started my original channel here in 2012. It's 13 years. 13 years, guys. I honestly think we're at a point with the way all this stuff is shifting. We're just testing aromacin in a very small amount just to keep you in the normal range is probably ideal. You know, I don't know that you need to add anything. You know, I mean, testosterone works great. The health effects are lower on tests than they are from other things. You know, people's only concern is some of this stuff. All right. All right. Coach is a good, appreciate review. I see a sharp uptick in people killing themselves with fad diet, internet info. Yeah. Yeah. Hello, how you doing, Jacobus on the Facebook? People just come in and say hello. They don't ask a lot of questions there. It's funny. Sometimes they do, though. They have these health issues and you ask what they eat, take, and when you identify the likely culprit, half the time they resist and fight you over it, right? Because they've been told by these circles that this is the way to eat. And that's the thing too. So many of them are so anti-science. You know, that's been the scary thing too of they make it an anti-science thing. I don't really know who Mr. Bean is. I've seen pictures of him. Like it's that dude with the funny face, right? Hey, Charlie, the thing to think about too, though, with DECA, just be aware of the potential for atherosclerosis. So again, we come back over to, honestly, if someone's going to use anything, testosterone might be the safest bet at this point. If we're looking at actual heart health, right? If you're looking at heart health and those things, testosterone might be the way to go. And maybe aromacin in small amounts to manage E2, but you cannot risk your E2 getting a low either. That's actually horrible for your heart health. Then if you're more concerned with joints, that's where a small amount of growth hormone. I've never been on Tinder, Sean. I have literally never seen Tinder. I see screenshots of Tinder on Facebook. That's my entire knowledge of Tinder. I've never actually been on it. Would you do a video call to help? Yeah, I mean that would be something I'd do in a consult. If you wanted to pay for an hour of my time and you wanted help on that, I'd be happy to do that. But I'm not gonna do a breakdown of all of that in here. But I mean, yeah, if you wanted to book an hour of my time, I'd be happy to discuss that with you. But dating apps is not the way. Yeah. Luke says, if I ever try exogenous hormones, I'm thinking about bioidentical Romacin if needed for E2, but trying to keep E2 at a good ratio and prefer a bit. I mean, Luke, right, because you have a medical background. If you have to pick between slightly elevated E2 and low E2, you want the slightly elevated, right? Because they both have side effects, but slightly elevated is way better for your health. Low E2 for men is dangerous. Rufio says, if you were to recommend one place to go for men to find a good woman, where would you recommend? You're not going to like this answer. Here it comes. You ready? Have you maybe church? Why did some women? I don't really remember the thing. Who? I don't know who Cassidy is. Who is she? I don't know who she is. Most men have no idea how incredibly important E2 is for systemic wide health, right? Yep. Reducing accumulation of atherosclerosis. How about tendon health? Right. Afternoon, coach. Well, it's morning still for me. Yeah. Ahern is probably more popular with men than women, right? Like most bodybuilders, right? Yep. I don't think dudes understand that online. Like, not saying a lot of women don't like abs. Men are more obsessed with abs on other men than women are. Both straight and gay men, both. Right? Let's be clear on that. Afternoon, Coach Anish. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. Right? Appreciate it. That already made the live stream worthwhile. Yep. Yep. So I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much. Are men more obsessed with looks than women are in general? Yeah. I see a lot of not handsome men date beautiful women and women reject handsome men. Let's be clear, women do care about looks, not as much as men do. Right? Not saying they don't care, they just care less. And people say they care, it's not even the money they always care about. I've known dudes who don't make a lot of money who have very attractive wives. Right? You know, I mean, women comment on my muscles, but it doesn't mean they're going to have sex with you. And that's what dudes forget. I get a lot of compliments from women, but it doesn't mean that they're going to let me take them to Pound Town just because they compliment me. You understand that? This is what guys don't grasp. If a man sees another person who they think is attractive and they're single or willing to cheat, they'll take it to Pound Town. With women, just because they think that you're physically attractive doesn't necessarily mean they're going to sleep with you. And this is where guys make the disconnect. Okay? Guys don't seem to grasp that. Women value personality more. Yeah. Personality will go really far with women. As long as they don't find you hideous, you know. You can be a guy who a woman only finds moderately attractive. Like, yeah, he's cute, you know. He's slightly handsome, right? But your personality, but if you got a personality that's like an 8 to 10 on the 1 to 10 scale, but they think that your looks are only a 6, you're probably in. They like your mindset, your wit, your humor, just your outlook on life. Like that is right. That will win women over. Like if they like that, your personality, but the personality is going to be different, Sean. It's going to be different for every guy. As Scott said, just be yourself. Right? Be yourself. Because if you put on a fake personality, when the real personality comes out, she's cutting you loose. I'll cover all these. Rufio says, do you think cheating is acceptable? No. Men trapped in sexist love, they need to get out of the marriage. Don't cheat. Luke just nailed it. This is something I've said before. If a woman feels safe and secure with you, that is number one. But I'm going to read out what he wrote. Right. Most desirable women who are at least late 20s seek someone who can comfort them, protect them, and make them feel safe, secure, and confident. Making them laugh goes further. Yeah. Not saying they don't want you to be like, not saying they don't like some abs or a nice body, but that's like icing on the cake. Does that make sense, guys? That's like icing on the cake. It's not the substance, and it's not a deal breaker. They want to feel safe and secure with a man. And that can be provided by a lot of different things. Yes, there's financial security, but that doesn't mean you got to be rich. You probably don't want to work minimum wage at McDonald's, though. But they want to feel physically safe with you and emotionally safe with you. Yeah, keep it real. Coaches, you got to appreciate it, Peppermint. How do you approach a woman I find pretty? If so, how do I talk to her? Just start a conversation, man. Right? Start a conversation. Just be aware of the social setting you're in, of whether it's appropriate or not. I mean, you can shoot your shot, but don't be creepy. Be polite, be respectful. Like goofball pickup lines are not necessarily going to work. Be polite, respectful. But are you only going because you think she's pretty? Do you understand that if she's pretty walking around, tons of dudes are approaching her already because she's pretty? You know, if you're not good, so I'm going to say, Sean, if you need to ask me a question about this, you're not going to cold pick up an attractive woman. You're just not. If you need any advice on how to do this and you don't just naturally have that ability, no one can teach it to you. You probably need to meet them through social circles. Well, I can't do them always later because I've got to train. Like this would normally, I'd be wanting to lift weights right now, on training days. James, I'm gonna get you out of here with that craziness. No, actually, no. She was insanely jealous. Insanely jealous. Like literally one of her friends even said, "Hey, I think you guys are really hot and we should have a threesome." And she just, she was not, no. No, she was super jealous type. Like, bitch, do not touch my man. Don't look at my man. That type of girl. No, Ricky, let's get you out of here though. These sort of questions. Lars says, best thing you can do if you're interested in women is showing you're not scared of talking to her. Yeah. Started to pop. Let's see. What uniqueness do you need to show a woman that she isn't used to? Well, Sean, bro, we that's not live stream level content. That's going to depend. I don't know enough about your personality to give you advice there. Sorry. How do you balance saturated fat being healthy with still eating meat? Because I don't eat much saturated fat. Saturated fat doesn't cause any problems in moderation. It's the excess where it starts to be a problem. That's how we do it. Unlike some things are horrible even in moderation, saturated fat's not one of them. Thoughts on acupuncture, cupping, scraping, they're scams. Coach, that must have hurt not getting the green light for that. I will say this as nicely as possible. Not saying the girl wasn't really attractive. She was hot. But it was also one of those, hey, I'm between outbreaks right now. With her Valtrax. And, there's a point also where you got to go, herpes is the gift that keeps on giving, Yeah. I'm the North America. I'm really not kidding with that line. I'm between outbreaks right now. Oh, Lord. Oh, my God. Sean says he was deceived by a married woman 4 years ago and developed PTSD. I made her husband aware of it. Yeah, you got to tell the husband at that point. So he's going to take it a lot better if you approach the dude obviously and be like, hey, I didn't know she was married, dude. Hey, man, I didn't know. I'm sorry, but you need to know. Dude ain't going to get mad at you. The dude is not going to get mad at you in that situation. He's going to be like, so you didn't know, but she tricked you, but you telling me. Yeah. And you just apologize to the dude. Be like, man, I did not know she was married. I'm sorry. Luke says, I see some people trying to hype up myostatin inhibitors and healthy people for hypertrophy. Yeah, you've heard my stances on that nonsense. For fuck's sake. Thanks, Jason, for being a voice of reason fighting these dangerous types of bad info. You got to look at people and go, guys, think about how big are you really trying to get and understand that any drugs you're taking to get bigger, you got to think about, is the risk worth it to you? You got to weigh that out. You really do. And we're at a point where if we need new anabolic drugs with other side effects adding in, how big are you trying to get? Like Nick Walker's not big enough? You're like, I wouldn't be happy being his size. I need to be bigger. Good. You was tuned in. Oh, I didn't even see this other thing. Always interested to see different views. All these guys that advertise fad diets makes me angry. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Yeah, man, I'm always going to be against the fad diet thing. Sorry, I didn't check Facebook for 15 minutes. I feel bad. So currently having an aversion fracture on my ligament. Really jealous. Oh, man. Sorry to hear that, dude. It's amazing how calm men can be who are aware their partner is cheating, right? It's one thing if they walk in and catch them. It's another thing when they get told by somebody and they get made aware. It's like, okay, all right. Because they appreciate the heads up. Like as a man, when some other dude, lets you know, it's like, okay. I mean, I had one where I was super chill and didn't even tell her for a minute. But okay, let's see how this plays out. I kept my cool for 2 weeks. All right. Sean says, I have no idea she was married. I told him only out of spite because she hurt me to hurt her back. Yeah, there. Northberg says, I was in that role and it was shockingly peaceful when I made the husband aware the woman was cheating, right? Yeah. You have the same initials as Justin Bieber. I suppose I do. If you get caught red-handed, you're effed. Yeah. That's where men lose their cool. Like if they physically walk in and catch you, that's when it gets ugly. That's where it could turn deadly. But when someone lets him know, dude's like, okay, right? Yeah, Marty, we don't need to have all that conversation, man. Coach, is there any path to remaining in the relationship if the woman cheats, or is it done deal? Say goodbye. I think that's got to be a case by case. I don't know what the right answer is there. I have never stayed in that situation. Um, I've not stayed. But also, sometimes they're just a hoe, and you realize that. Like that's your awareness of how much of a hoe they are sometimes. Luke says, I must have 300 pounds of metabolically demanding tissue. Right, talking about the virus. My goal is to mimic a hypothetical horrific endocrine disease that kills by age 25. Nick Walker doesn't even. Right? Any real men make it real ugly if they walk into that. I mean, it happens, dude. They literally, okay. We actually have, where I live, because we're an armed society, we have a heat of the moment defense. But it's tricky. It's like, so our heat of the moment defense in Texas, if you walk in on that, man or a woman, it can't be like 5 minutes later. It can't be you went back to your car and had 30 seconds or a minute to calm down to get something. But that is an actual valid defense in our laws here, that if you walk in on your spouse, this is man or a woman, right there physically in the act, and you lose your cool and just pew, 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 right? In the moment. And the DA can't prove that you knew and planned it or yeah, right. That's a defense. That's actually a defense against murder in Texas. That is in the law as a defense to be used in court. Now you're going to have to take it to trial, right? Like it's not going to be, hey, they don't charge you. You're still going to have a lawyer and all that. Thoughts on Arabic countries having cheating punishment? No, I think that's a bit much. I think that's a bit far. you know. Um, you know, but that's the point, Rufio. I mean, yeah, here, there, that is defendable in court, and you may walk away innocent. Not guaranteed. They're gonna dig super heavy into the story. Dude, they're gonna be digging into your phone records. They're gonna be looking to see, did someone already tell you they were, you know what I mean? Oh, well, you sent this text over here saying you think your girl might be cheating. You see what I mean? You know, it has to be that sudden surprise, immediate knee jerk response called the heat of the moment. So again, it's one of those where they're going to fight you out in court on it. Like the DA is going to grill you. They're going to dig through your phone records. They're going to look. They're going to want to know, well, exactly how did this go down? Did you leave and come back a minute later? Did you get something out of your vehicle? You know, you can't turn and leave. It's got to be you just flip out right there. So it's the heat of the moment defense. But, you know, so these are complicated legal topics, really. They're very complicated. I'm not going to go into all that myself, but yeah, I could see myself married again. I agree with the heat of the moment defense. But keep in mind that applies to women too. So dudes be like, yeah, but it's like, you need to understand women have that same defense. This is not just for dudes. So, you know, you're married and you're cheating, you're having an affair, a wife walks in on you. Keep in mind, these Texas girls are strapped too. Right? You cheat, you run the gun. Right? You can't complain of the consequences. The game's a game, right? Especially if you live in a place like I do. Right? Where you know that can happen and they may not even go to jail for it. Plus, if you immediately open fire in that case, you can't argue you didn't know if she was consenting. Depends on the scene you walked in on, right? Depends on the scene you walk in on. But Luke, that's another thing too. This is also Texas. What if you just hit the other guy? You're in the clear there. And here's why. But what is one of the viable uses of deadly force in the state of Texas? To stop a sexual assault that is in progress. You can use up to deadly force to stop a sexual assault in progress. So, what if the cheater got attacked first, but then ended up getting the upper hand and killing the guy who got cheated on? Okay. Since technically what he was doing was not a felony, he wasn't breaking the law, he may have a valid self-defense. Because the other person can't just legally do it. If they have a defense, it's like a defense against prosecution. It's still technically murder, but they've got a defense against it. Makes sense? So, but in that case, so here's the way self-defense works in Texas. If you're in the commission of a crime, you lose all right to self-defense. So example, let's say someone legally stalks a YouTuber from the internet and they show up while stalking them to harass them. They're committing a felony. They have no self-defense. So they'll still go to prison for murder if they pull out a pew-pew to defend themselves against this person they're stalking pulling out a pew-pew. They die either way. They may even get the death penalty for that. So if you're committing a felony of any type, you lose all rights to self-defense. Right. But technically, he's not committing a felony. So, um, you know, but that's the thing people forget too with self-defense in Texas. You cannot be in commission of a crime when you defend yourself. That will not prevent a murder charge or even a guilty verdict, right? It invalidates it, especially if you're committing a felony. You invalidate it completely. You have no right to self-defense. Make sense? Okay, ready. And we didn't go off into some crazy topics. We getting cray-cray in here this morning. Oh Lord. So there's a lot of nuances. This is why we have legal systems and lawyers, and you know. Jason, what age do you feel you were mature enough to become a great partner? At what age for me? Oh man, yeah, probably 30s. Probably 30s. I mean, I was married in my 20s, and you know, I didn't do everything perfect. I tried, right? But yeah, I mean, I definitely made mistakes. Now, doggy, why would it ever die down? Can we not bring it up though any further? Let's drop the topic. Why would you think it's died down? So you might be armed with a long sword. Yeah, especially here, right? Which begs the question. Little trivia. Has anyone within 100 miles of me been killed with a longsword in my life? The answer is yes. And it happened at the Renaissance Festival. They squared off on some dude. They changed all the rules for raw steel at our Ren Fest after that. It was an altercation, and the four dudes squared off with him in the parking lot with swords. He didn't make it. Oh my God. Oh. All the rules changed. You had to zip tie all your blades at Ren Fair after that. I mean, they stabbed me. He died from stabbing. Yep, it happened. Oh, Texas, why you so crazy? Yeah, he died in a legit sword fight. Um, oh, they're talking about a different type of long sword. Well, I don't know that that's dangerous. You know, I don't know that that's the same degree of lethality there. But no, where I live, swords are legal to carry. Not just Ren Fair. You can't unsheath it though in public. I know the Brits in here are like, what? No, it's perfectly legal. Bowie knives and swords. Oh, don't get me started on that's a bit of nuance on mutual combat. No, you're going to have problems there. No, you can't. You can't arrange a duel. The long swords we were talking about were unsheathed in a public place. Right. Yeah. So, but no, even at Ren Fair, they require you to zip tie all the blades in place, and any spears have to have like the tip covered now. Spears and axes can't have sharp points uncovered. Due to that event, they changed the rules just to make it slower to get anything out, so you have time to calm down. Yeah, no, we don't allow duels like that here. You know, yeah. But no, Bowie knives. It extended to swords. They had to extend it to swords, but we had the Bowie knives here considered a cultural thing. And in terms of preserving our heritage, Bowie knife carry is legal, but it got extended to swords in fairness. And then also the religious context too gets thrown in. So like Sikhs, yes. So Sikhs are allowed to carry their blades here. They're allowed to here also. But they would already be allowed to, but then they also would have the religious reason also. That's why I'm going to convert to being a Mandalorian. Weapons are a part of my religion. But yeah, that's a joke to me. Also, just I agree. I agree. I mean, I carry a blade a lot of times too. Right? Hold on, I'll be right back. You guys want to see? I mean, I have a couple blades I carry off and on. I'll be right back. So these are legal. These are not the biggest blades I have, of course, but these are ones that I oftentimes will wear on a belt with blue jeans. So I mean, I've got blades. So this is one I carry sometimes. Just a backup, you know. Be a malfunction with your carry piece. So and then I also have this one. It's a little bigger. So these are both blades I occasionally wear off and on the belt. Yeah, I mean, you might run out. I usually carry 2 to 3 extra bags, but you never know, dude. I mean, it could happen. Or you could have a stoppage that you can't clear. You got to have something. Like, why you don't want to be completely unarmed. I'm a nice guy, though, Rufio. I'm pretty chill. But yeah, you know. You know, it's always better safe than sorry. And that's my philosophy. If everyone take your level of care, we not have the problem with crime, right? I mean, well, but you're the citizen's the first line of defense against all those things, right? You know, especially active shooters and things. That's the citizen's job. I mean, police can't be everywhere. We should all be prepared, especially, you know, yeah, have situational awareness when you're out and about. You know, yeah. But you know, yeah, something could happen. You know, you're dealing with something with entanglement. Maybe you can't get to your piece. It gets knocked away. You know, in a scuffle. You know, you can always slip that blade out, right? So something's lost, your piece is lost, someone's entangled with you. Well, you've got that as a fallback, you know, especially if someone's grappling you. Now you've got it. Now you got a force multiplier. Yeah, I'm aware of your loss, Scott, unfortunately. All right, I think it's about time to wind this down, though. Let's wind down. Oh, hey, I just now saw this new stuff. All right, guys, I'm going to wind down the Facebook. Shut down the tube. Sorry, guys. Love you guys. And we're out.